On this week's show, we're discussing all of the insanely mega reveals across the PlayStation State of Play, Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, and the Xbox Showcase, which just finished, as of the time writing, 12 minutes ago. But we're here to break all that down, round up for you on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to your weekly gaming show, the GamerGuild Podcast, where we get together to round up all of the week's video game news for your viewing or listening pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuild TV and available up there on your podcast platform of choice. Just search for the GamerGuild Podcast or GamerGuild TV and you will find us here, there, and everywhere every single Monday, 8 a.m. when this show goes live on feeds. Your podcast players for the week are myself, Chris at Arcane Rogue, and the man of many pixels, Richie C89.
Hello, everyone.
Hello to games, the world of games, and what is E3, not E3, because my word, we've got a jam-packed show, Richie, filled with, I reckon, 100 plus games. Easy.
Yeah, I haven't counted them, but there is quite a lot.
There is a lot. For those who haven't been following, this is basically the time of year when everyone gets together and talks and shows off everything there is to know about video games. So yes, we had a PlayStation State of Play on Tuesday gone. So a little bit late to the party on that one, but it had some big hits nonetheless. Then we had Jeff Keighley's State of Play on Friday, heading into the weekend. And then Xbox always like to leave it late with an Xbox Showcase on a Sunday evening. And then in between that, we've had Day of the Devs, Future Game Fest, lots of little indie showcases. And the rumour, Richie, is there's going to be a Nintendo Direct possibly Tuesday or Wednesday this coming week. So we'll pick that one up on next week's show. But for now, what a lineup, what a great show we've got for everyone. But before we do get into it, what is going to be a very busy show, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring a ding that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the great content we do here on the channel, such as this very show, weekly live streams. Last week was 007 Bloodstone, rounding up the Bond era that we've been playing, as you and me, Richie, got into 007 First Light. And I think it's safe to say we're both platinum trophy holders of that game now.
We are, indeed.
Give us your overall kind of thoughts then. Keep it brief because we do have a busy show, but I know we could probably do a whole spoiler cast on it because it's up there for my game of the year, certainly.
I love the game. Platinum wise, it's actually an easy platinum. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more in that game to do after you get the platinum if you wish to keep playing, which is kind of nice sometimes, because if you like your trophy hunting but you don't want to get bogged down in games, Pragmata for example, Pragmata's got a whole hard mode playthrough, but you can't use New Game Plus for it.
Right.
And it's like one of them's like, but if you don't like, if you've actively chose not to play in that, well, you can't even unlock that difficulty till you complete the game. It's like, I hate difficulty trophies because not everyone can play in them difficulties. But anyway, that mini rant aside, it's nice to have a platinum trophy that is very achievable. It gives you a taste of everything the game has to offer. But then with the tax sims, you can go really deep, like you can with Hitman, and do levels and redo levels in certain ways. So I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of what the game has to offer, and I have the platinum trophy, and I loved every minute of it.
Shout out to Chapter Select. That was such a when I looked at the end of finishing it and thought, right, what do I have to go back and get all the intel, all the mementos and stuff, and I'd probably say about 55-60% of them already just through my first playthrough. And then when I found out Chapter Select was so easy to jump around to very specific parts of each mission, was like, my word,
it's not just level select, it's encounter select. You can go to the specific part of the specific chapter.
Yeah, and that worked out so well for cleanup. I think my cleanup, it would have been probably 10 hours, and it got reduced down to like less than 2, I think.
One thing it did catch me out on, though, is if you are bouncing through the chapter select a lot, it will just keep whatever gadgets you've got set. Yeah. And some collectibles may need a specific gadget. Yeah. I think there's one where I needed a laser watch. But because I didn't have it set, I had to go back and play from halfway through an early mission back up to that point. Yeah. But other than that, it's like,
100%. Absolutely love it. I'm sure we'll talk about it more, and it'll definitely be in our Game of the Year conversation. I guess while we're on this one, there was some news dropped this week about the game, that it's going to get continued content similar to Hitman, they had their mission director is his job title, which is quite cool at IO Interactive. They did expand a little bit on the tax sims. They confirmed that there's a Nintendo Switch 2 version coming later on this year. Yeah, later on this year. In and amongst other additions and a story expansion where Bava, which is one of the characters in the game, he's going to be back as well, and you're going to return to Aleph in some sort of story-based mission. So having that, I think, so soon off the back of it, and as you said, I kind of finished the game, got the platinum, and still wanted to play more. I was kind of in a weird way disappointed. I didn't have to play through the whole campaign again. I am going to do it with my wife, however, because I think she loves Uncharted so much. It's got that DNA, which I think she'll enjoy.
Is that slightly disappointing? It's like you're loving the game, go, oh, I've got the platinum. I can move on now. I could be still playing. I could spend all day today playing more 007 First Light, doing some of the tax sims and all that kind of stuff. But I have made the decision to move on. But the nice thing is, because it is a relatively short game, when it comes around to, I don't know, the sequel, you can just go through, and you could probably get through it in over a weekend if you're skipping cutscenes, just to refresh yourself with the story. And to be honest, when you mentioned the DLC, that's what I was thinking, that I will probably go back and play the story DLC in the run-up to the sequel, as long as Amazon don't fuck it up, because they're threatening to.
I guess that's another side story as we get into, I guess, minor news of the week. There wasn't actually much news because everyone was waiting with bated breath for all these announcements. But Amazon kind of came out and announced that, they do have kind of publishing rights.
For no reason at all, they've turned around and went, we want to be more involved.
Yeah. I mean, they do own it, but this was obviously signed off before that, well before they took creative rights. It's in everyone's best interest that they just let them make another one. I think I would love a sequel in another 4 years, I guess, probably timeline-wise.
You are going to be the publisher, Amazon, of the sequel. Yeah, but if you push too hard, I can see IO just walking away.
Yeah,
and going back to Hitman.
Don't do it. Not like this. Not like this, as the one said in The Matrix. But speaking of The Matrix, Richie, we need to dive into all those zeros and ones because, as I said, very busy show, very stacked. We're basically going to break the show down into 3 pillars, one for each showcase. There is also a reality we are not going to get to every game. If we don't touch on your particular game that maybe set the world alight for you, let us know in the comments if there's something that maybe we looked over that is actually a standout up and coming hit that we should have picked up on more. By all means, let us know in the comments. Let us know in our Discord. There's loads of chitter chatter, been back and forth throughout the week leading up to this, and while the event was going on, there was loads of people, I think, watching along the same time we were in our Discord chat, talking about things, discussing things. It's a very vibrant place to be. But Richie, we can't kick things off officially until you introduce us to the
graciously gathered GamerGuild Gazette, aka the news.
The news. And our news, of course, is brought to you by the wonderful Guild Heroes, the folks who support the channel an extra little bit more, just like you can, from as little as 99p. You get early access to this very show, although not so much this week, because it's going to go very late on a Sunday evening ahead of Monday launch.
Blame Xbox for that.
Blame Xbox, yeah. But obviously all previous Bond content and stuff, any first looks that we get early. There's a couple of Ubisoft things in the pipeline coming up, because we've got the Ubisoft Creators Program, so they do send us links and early access. I'm hoping for Black Flag and Rayman in the next couple of weeks / months, so keep an eye out for that content. But thank you to everyone who's tuned in and supported us, and I think we are on the cusp, Richie, heading towards that 5k milestone. So if you haven't done so already, do share with your friends, get it out there on social media and stuff, and let's hit that next milestone, because we're on fire at the moment. But story number 1, the PlayStation State of Play was out. It showed off a ton of new games. We jumped around from both first-party deals to second-party, third-party, and beyond. It broadcast for about an hour, if I recall off the top of my head. It's been a couple of days now, and we've been baffled with so many showcases in between. I did actually watch some of the future game devs. It was hosted by Troy Baker and the new voice actor for Tomb Raider series. I thought it was really, really good, but in between all the other showcases, I can't remember what was on. So we'll start with PlayStation. They started with Wolverine gameplay, kicking things off, and we got a date.
About 7 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah.
And September the 15th it comes out, and it looks brutal.
It does,
in the best way possible.
Is it safe to say this is the most violent Insomniac game we've ever had? or even PlayStation.
I'd say so. Like well, if you think Insomniac, you're thinking things like most recently, like things like Spider-Man.
Ratchet and Clank,
that violent. Very much not that violent. This very, very violent. This feels more like Naughty Dog levels of violence, if not even actually more excessive than that.
I mean, he literally has 6 serrated blades coming out of his hands, so
yeah.
there was always that worry that they were going to dial it down for a child audience, which I guess Spider-Man is closer to a family-friendly one, but no, yeah, they went all out with this one, and I think it was always going to be a day one for me. Are you the same, I'm guessing?
Yeah. I'm glad they showed a gameplay trailer here, an extended gameplay trailer, and didn't go story in this, because to be honest, I don't want any story trailers for this.
Yeah,
I already trust Insomniac. It's Wolverine. It hinted at a few story beats, but what I wanted to see, I think, in this was, what is the gameplay going to look like? And it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks, again, I think we've came to the understanding that it looks almost like mini open world hubs that you get into. And then just like, I guess, linear combat, as you would describe. So it's semi-open world, but it feels like there's definitely a structured path they want you to take. But my word, some of his takedowns look very, very well kind of animated. It's not snappy like Arkham, I would say, but it still has that a bit of fluidity that they've learned from Spider-Man. But my Lord, he gets covered in blood and gore and limbs.
You know what? I almost feel like, looking at the trailer, this is what a future Arkham game should be similar to. Obviously not as gory, because Batman doesn't kill Wolverine. Literally rips people's heads off of his claws. Yeah. But you know how that snappiness of it, I feel like this is like the modern evolution of that style of combat.
Mm-hmm. It also looks for me very, very Insomniac. There's definitely an art style, I guess. Like, you do wonder how many of the assets they've reused, because we do know Insomniac have turned these games over fairly quickly in the grander scheme of things. Remember, Naughty Dog haven't had a game out since Insomniac have put out 3 now. So they're obviously turning the assets over smartly.
I don't think there's anything wrong with reusing assets from other games if it makes sense. So things like random crates and bollards and stuff, which actually brings on to the environment. Seems quite destructible.
Oh yes, I think it uses a bit of
points
everything.
Where he just smashes through like a concrete bollard. It's like, oh, that's the thing. And then there's a fork truck, and he just chucks someone onto it, and the forks just go through the guy.
Oh yeah, he kicks it. He's got a shield, hasn't he? And he just kicks him through it.
So the environment isn't just there to look pretty; it does seem to be part of the gameplay.
Speaking of environment, were you happy with the puddles in the trailer? Because Insomniac got a lot of stick for the quality of the puddles when the Spider-Man 2 trailer came out, if you remember.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like that people make way too much of that. It's an early bit. That was an early build. This probably similar to this. If when it comes to the actual final release, they have to downscale things a little bit to get it running, because this is almost certainly running on at least PS5 Pro, but more likely it's running on a gaming PC, on like a development PC. They may have to dial things back a little bit, but that's just part of it, really. And if you're getting stuck too much on things like, oh, they've reduced the amount of puddles, okay then. Like,
so be it.
Yeah. Can I point out 007 First Light? Proper mirrors.
Yes.
Which you don't see that often in video games, so I wanted to give that a quick shout out where I remember.
It's usually smashed or blurred, isn't it? Or smeared.
Just a grey smear.
Throughout the gameplay trailer, we did see Jean Grey pop up.
Yep.
Wasn't overly wowed of her kind of just overall look and facial animations. Obviously, she's a secondary character, but yeah, it was something about it looked a bit stiff and wooden. She looked like a poor version of Jessie from Control in a weird way. Just rocking up in a big black coat.
I see what you mean.
I think the coat just didn't flow like fabric should. It looked a bit stiff.
But leather can be, actually.
Yeah, I guess. But we saw some cool combat moves where seemingly, if you're in the right proximity to her, that you can throw enemies at her, utilize them, use them as shields and such. And then we kind of got into like an Uncharted chase scene, fighting just different villains and stuff. And we saw Wolverine go. He had the option of almost like a God of War rage mode. And then we also saw him hit his healing factor, where he was basically almost down to his skeleton. And then the
trailer
gets it
never
back.
Actually goes into the.
It doesn't. No, it teases us.
It teases you with the L2R2. It's like, oh, it's going to do it. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Which I think is frustratingly smart move.
Yeah, it's a choice, but we definitely wanted to see more.
It's hinting that there's something there, but we're not going to show you it now.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, there's nothing really more to say. I think we've discussed. Well, I mean, we've been talking about Wolverine since the leaks many years ago now, and we're finally at a point where it's imminently due to come out. But I'm looking forward to it very much. So I trust Insomniac with it. In a way, it's going to be nice to have a comic book game that isn't Spider-Man, because we've had 3 of them at the moment. It'll be nice to actually see, I guess, what is a connected world, but still at the same time, it's going to be a narrative.
And this was announced quite a while back, actually.
Yeah, it feels like it. We got that trailer with him sat in the bar.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued to see how this ties into the wider, whatever X-Men Marvel Insomniac universe is going to look like. But all in all, I thought a strong start. We knew about it. We knew it was coming. And then we get into some other games, Richie. And as I said at the beginning of the show, we can kind of jump around a little bit here, because I think some of them our audience know of, some of them were more just re-showings of the same stuff, like Marvel talk on Fighting Souls. I feel like we've seen that 7-8 times, just with a slightly variation on character.
Yeah, they're doing their slow release of all the characters, similar to how like things like Smash Bros. Does like a character rollout. Yeah. I feel like this isn't getting the same level of hype that Smash Bros. Always gets, but basically showed off a bunch of Marvel villains, including Magneto and Carnage. Yeah. And Green Goblin, and who was the 4th? Was it Doctor Doom?
Oh, I have no idea. They went through a few, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, Doom would make sense because it's upcoming.
I feel like with a game like this, you know whether you're in or out.
Yeah.
If you're into fighting games and you're into Marvel, you're probably in. Otherwise, you're probably out.
Agreed. Next up, we got Rayman Legends Retold, coming out on October 1st on PS5. This is the return of the original Rayman Legends, but it's a bold 3D reimagining of the platformer. It's going to bring new content, narrative twists to do with a shadowy villain in the Glade of Dreams. Rayman Legends is one that I think I've played briefly on, I want to say, the PlayStation Vita, but not too much.
Yeah, so Legends is a retelling of the first game, isn't it? And then Legends Retold is a retelling of that. So it's like a remake of a remake, basically.
Is it? I don't know. It doesn't look anything like... No, it can't be. No, Rayman Legends is the one with that had 4 protagonists. You got the little Viking girl, the blue blob guy. Yeah. Obviously, we had the remaster of the original a couple of months back. This is the one where it had 4 characters. I think I have played it.
That's where I went wrong, because I did the remaster of the first one.
Yeah, I think this is the one that had the Black Betty level, where you basically did 2D platforming to the beat of "Whoa, Black Betty, bam, bam," and it was a great level. But yeah, now it's getting remastered with some more 3D elements. So in the trailer, they show off 2D, but then the game almost pivots into a 3D one for some track linear, kind of avoid the big enemies, fly around on back of some dragons. Looks great, looks gorgeous. I've heard a few people already say that they actually prefer the art style of the original, which I guess is a credit to the original. But then this is
rather
Ubisoft.
Rather than the 3D, 2D art style, it's a proper 2D game.
But I do think there's place for both of them, and I think this is Ubisoft. We know there's been a small team working on Rayman for quite a while. I think it's them basically leaning back onto what's a known quantity for Ubisoft. We've seen it with Assassin's Creed Black Flag. They're doing it with Rayman. No surprise.
We've talked to death about Ubisoft's current situation. I feel like they're doing a lot of safe bets to get some income in, but it's nice to see Rayman actually getting some love. Yeah. Because Ubisoft have ignored its existence for quite a while. So
it's been over 10 years. Yeah, it's been over 10 years since we got the last one.
Hopefully, this is the start of like maybe either a series of like remakes of all the Rayman titles in this style, or maybe a launchpad for an actual new Rayman game.
Yeah, I mean, you'd imagine once this team wraps up on the launch of this one, they're well versed in Rayman games. Get on it, do something new.
Are you picking this up on October the 1st, Chris?
Oh, I mean, I don't think so, purely because of how much stuff is coming out between now and then. So I'm going to say no. I definitely will get around to it at some point. But it looks great. Again, it's on my radar.
You know what? For the sake of this episode, instead of using that same line a million times, I'm just going to say not yet. if you ask me if I'm picking something up, like day and date, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff in here, and there's a lot of not yets.
Yeah, a lot of not yets. We also got Bancho the Chef showed up next, which I just want to give a little shout out to because it's from the Dave the Diver team. And everywhere I saw, people thought it was going to be a sequel or another DLC because they've done a lot of partnerships with like Godzilla and stuff. And it turns out it's a prequel featuring a small side character from the game in a totally new type of game. It's like a cooking prequel. Think like Cooking Mama on the Nintendo DS mixed with other mini games, but with the Dave the Diver art style and almost like light-hearted comedy.
I'll admit this was a bit lost on me because I haven't played Dave the Diver.
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it, but it was more so I saw it got a big kind of pop online.
Yeah, I knew it was in that universe, but without knowing like Bancho, the character from Dave the Diver, this was just flew under the radar a bit for me.
You said Dave the Diver as well.
Dave, I said Dave the Diver.
Day off.
Day of Dave the Diver.
Same thing. But yeah, just I wanted to sprinkle a couple of indie games in there.
Yeah. But Dave the Diver is a game I probably should play at some point.
I think everyone should at some point.
I've just added it on my list of games to play. So when you get a moment, like how recently I played through Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a couple of days to play. Bang, let's pick something up. That kind of thing. So
yeah, agreed. Should we jump over to Tomb Raider next? I think that was That was the next big one that came out on the list. We did get a date for it. However, as suspected, it came with a delay at the same time. This is the Legacy of Atlanta, so this is the remake of the 1996 original. They did tease us a bit more. They showed off a little bit more gunplay, talking about like the jumping around, globe-trotting kind of stuff. Everything we knew, essentially, with pre-orders going live. Still a day one for you. Now it's been pushed to 2027?
I think it's actually, at this point in time, more likely to be a day one, because wasn't it slated for September originally?
I don't think they put an actual date on it.
Oh, with how, well,
maybe
anyway,
like summer.
Stacked, with how, no, they didn't put a date, it was just 2026. But with how stacked this year is shaping up to be from this point onwards, I'm okay with the delay. And off the top of my head, this is probably a day one pickup for me in February. Time will tell if that stands true, but it is a definite I will play this game.
Yeah, it does look great. I think everything we've probably both just enjoyed recently with First Light, mixed with everything I enjoyed about Indiana Jones, it's kind of that gap where full circle moment Uncharted should be, but isn't, because Sony seemingly don't like Uncharted anymore. And I remember the first two Tomb Raiders fondly, but I think as a child, as a 6-7-year-old, whatever we were at the time, I don't think I ever really understood the games or what I was meant to be doing. I thought it was just a cool game, but I definitely spent more time.
That's all it was, to be fair, for the most part. What I found weird about this is they got also Tomb Raider Catalyst is slated for next year, which looked worse than this.
Yeah.
Which I always still think that was a mistake announcing both of them.
Two, yeah. I mean, that inevitably means the next one's also probably going to be pushed back out of it. We know this one is Flying Wild Hog with Crystal Dynamics. But, I think playing number 2, I definitely spent more time just in the manor house, locking the butler in the kitchen than I did actually playing the game. I remember using the cheats to check.
I remember Venice.
Yeah, to play every level, and I remember
Which
enjoying...
is probably the first level or something.
Yeah, bits of every level, and I remember using like the unlimited weapons and stuff to just have a bit more fun, a bit like you did in Grand Theft Auto back in the day. But I'm looking forward to... they did like an interview during the trailer and said basically they've redefined... This isn't a remaster remake. It's kind of like what Resident Evil have done, where they've kind of redone the best bits, but expanded it, made it feel like a modern game. The mechanics, the controls, the visuals, of course, 100%.
I feel like if you go back to Tomb Raider 1, it is probably quite light on story, and it is largely just about the level, getting through the levels. Yeah. Now it feels like they've added that, expanded that narrative layer, which was probably quite thin on the ground because early PS1, like narrative games weren't that strong back then.
Agreed. And they're being quite tactical with it as well. I don't know if you've seen the pre-order bonus is the Survivor outfit from the Survivor trilogy, which I appreciate that they're not just brushing it under the carpet, because it's definitely the best 3 Tomb Raider games collectively and collective story told for me.
What's going to be interesting is because there was rumours before about them working on a bridge between the Survivor trilogy and Tomb Raider 1.
Yeah.
I've theorized in the past that maybe Legacy of Atlantis, now we know what it's called, could be that bridge. This could potentially be the same Lara Croft from the End of Shadows continuing on, and they may use the narrative to link them a bit. I don't think it'll be as strong as we might be hoping, but I think there'll be hints towards it.
Yeah, I hope so. Then where do you want to go from here then, Richie? Because we kind of went into a block of games that aren't really for me, but some of them are not quite big studios, but they got quite a pop during the actual showcase. Shout out to Dynasty Warriors 3 Remastered, which was due out in March, and they went radio silent on it and said it had been delayed without an actual update. That's now coming October 1st, so shout out to that one. That's on my to-buy list.
I feel it's worth mentioning Phantom Blade Zero, even though it's not up either at our list, but because it is probably one of the stronger games there. It looks like Mitlager got a story trailer.
Which
Silent Hill Townfall? Onimusha Way of the Sword is a similar thing to me to Phantom Blade Zero, where I feel it deserves its mention, but it's not a game I'm particularly interested in myself.
Yeah, I would agree on those premises. I think out of those, we've seen Silent Hill have a bit more of a resurgence with Silent Hill 2 remake, and then we've also had Silent Hill F. So we've had the two Silent Hill games kind of back to back now, and then I guess with Townfall being teased, that they are playing the Resident Evil card of this one's first person. It's got a different premise. It's kind of like F, where they've gone a complete opposite way. They went to Japan, and now we're in Scotland, if I recall, using 80s, early 90s technology. And I think it could do wonders. I actually think this one appeals to me more, just like the Resident Evil first-person kind of semi-franchise reboot did, where it's got me intrigued. I don't know about you.
I'm not really interested in survival horror games, so it's same as Resident Evil. It's just not a game I'm particularly looking forward to, although I do respect it from a distance. I do worry, maybe, are we getting a bit too much Silent Hill at the moment?
It does seem like Konami went all in. I remember when they announced it and they said there was like 4 games, a movie, I want to say a TV series. I feel like they announced like 5-6 things all at once, and they were like, Silent Hill is back. And then we knew they were doing Metal Gear Solid is back as well with the Snake Eater, Delta, sorry. And then I guess, yeah, they're just trying to very much follow in Capcom's footsteps. They've already announced Team Bloober are going to be remaking Silent Hill 1 after the success of 2. Obviously, that's going to take a couple of years, but it does seem like we're getting a couple of Silent Hill franchises at a bit of a clip at the moment. But
yeah, Silent Hill 2 remake was 2024. F was 2025. Townfall is now September 2026.
Mm-hmm.
We've had problems in the past where a franchise puts out games a bit too regularly. That annualized franchise leads, like, gamers end up getting burnt out on it, and then the quality starts diminishing. I feel like I've always felt the sweet spot is a year gap between entries.
At least. You touched on Phantom Blade Zero. I think that has got a good bit of hype behind it. Kamuri, I think, and Dune Awakening and stuff for some of the others that they did a good showing, but nothing that made me go and stand up and think this looks great.
Dune's already out anyway. It's just now coming to the PlayStation 5.
Oh, was it? I did. You know what? I feel like we've had 2 or 3 Dune games, and then beside that mixed in with the movies, I don't think my brain could really tell if it was new or wasn't, or it was an expansion. So that's good to get that one cleared up. I will say the one that stood out for me surprisingly was the Stuntman game.
Okay. Stuntman Hollywood.
Yeah, just because I didn't really know what it was going to be. At first, I thought it might have been Clutch, which I'd read a few positive things on earlier in the week, and I didn't know if that was who it was made by. So when Saber popped up, and I saw just like cars coming in, and I didn't know anything about Clutch other than it was from ex-racing devs, but I think that there may be the Forza team possibly. So I thought, okay, it's got some racing pedigree. And then I saw this trailer start, and I was like, right, that's definitely Fast and the Furious. And then the music cut to like, oh, that's Miami Vice, I want to say, just from the car. And obviously, we're both kids of like the 80s, 90s movies anyway. And then when it cut to Knight Rider, and I only remember watching Knight Rider briefly, but the little beat of the Knight Rider music and the car powering up, I was like, oh shit, I'm in. I'm getting more and more into it. And then, of course, they cut the last one, they cut to the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and I was like, is this just Smash Bros. Of movie cars?
Yeah, I think the premise seems to be your Hollywood stuntman doing all the stunts. So I feel like the gameplay loop is going to be about nailing that set piece, so it looks like really cinematic and good on camera.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and then when the DeLorean wraps up, and you've got the little Back to the Future music drop, and then he sticks his thumb out, and it's just like, oh, we got that in one take, well done, re-roll, let's go again. It was like, okay, I get the premise of this game. It's very much just that. So I think if this one can tie up a couple of more IP, get that Jurassic Park Jeep in there, get the Batmobile in there, just keep leaning onto like the vehicles of Hollywood.
This might be one where PlayStation, with their games as a service push, this could be one way to winner, because it feels like you could just keep adding to it, depending how the game's structured, because we don't really know about that. We don't really know much about the gameplay yet.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's going to be level, just like mission based.
But
like
if it is that kind of mission based thing where you get you're doing like Back to the Future, he's a list of stunts that you have to try and capture, potentially within a time limit, that kind of like almost arcadey thing.
Yeah.
You can keep bringing out new levels, new movies, pretty much from any franchise you want.
As long as there's a car in it, like let me chase and try and run down the Terminator in a big oil tanker, like in Terminator 2. Like, do that. I will say it's made by Saber, so I don't think it's PlayStation exclusive. I think it was just at their state of play. So who knows right. what that could be.
But that actually might then make it easier, because then they're not the whole politics behind Sony studios and stuff aren't really at play. Because they have the Universal licensing, at least partially.
Yeah, I mean, Fast and Furious definitely heavily used in there.
Not having it being Sony first party could be actually an asset in this sense, because Sony Studios, any competitiveness with that, with Saber being a third party in like the movie Hollywood scene, gives them a bit more license to play around. Yeah.
Well, the original one from 2001, Stuntman, was made by the people who made Driver. So this is kind of like
is this actually a sequel to it?
Yeah, this is
I thought it's just a...
No, you're talking like 15 plus years later. Rise from the rookie driver to hero of the silver screen. Have you got what it takes? Grip the wheel, hit the gas, lights, camera, action. Explosive film set action. Stunt driving 6 exotic movie locations. But it wasn't like IP related. It just says, Hollywood stunt driver. So it's the same premise. I just think they've got licensing to go with it this time, to, I guess, add a bit more to it. And you know what? As soon as I saw the DeLorean and Kit from Knight Rider, I was like, oh, hell yeah. It was pulling on some nostalgia strings. I think if they get the price right, and it's like 25 quid, like they can't go too far with this. I don't feel like, don't price it any 40 upwards.
I think it's going to be about 40.
Yeah,
I feel like you don't get games for 25 quid really.
You don't, but it should be.
Outside of like indie games and stuff, actually things like Mina the Hollow and stuff might be about 25 quid, but you know what I mean. Like 3D games like this, I tend not to be. I'd be surprised, and to be honest, that a £25 price point might actually hurt it, because sometimes it has the connotations of quality in the price.
Yeah, agreed. We got a trailer for Control Resonant, which I genuinely feel, we spoke about it pre-show.
Yeah.
Definitely feel like I've seen about 80 trailers for Control Resonant now. They've definitely got the marketing up and running, but this is the first time we got an actual date for it. So it's coming September 24th. Is it September 24th?
Yeah, September 24th.
I don't need to see more of this now. I know you've just started Control, finally.
I have, yeah.
But yeah, between Control, Alan Wake 1, Remaster, Alan Wake 2...
I still feel from the last Control trailer, I felt the combat looked a bit flat and a bit like there was no impact to the attacks. And that's just a lasting thing where I feel this trailer hasn't addressed that, because it just feels like another story trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But I am still in on Control. This is still probably a day and date for me.
How far?
Depending on, I mean, when you started playing Control today at time of recording,
Okay.
yeah. I've got to the maintenance area.
Okay. But yeah, this is a day one for me. It's my September game, but I just don't need to say any more. I feel like it's been at every showcase, every event, and it got a pop out when we went revealed. But I think now maybe they went a bit too early with the marketing. Because the market, it looks great, it looks trippy. I think similar to as you're about to find out, I'm probably going to use like psychic powers more than the actual melee powers.
Ooh, there's a problem with Control's date. Wolverine's the 15th of September.
There's many problems with Control's date, which I mean,
Wolverine's the big one.
I was going to summarise at the end, but yeah, September 24th, even just in this show alone, I feel like we're going to talk about 6 games that come out on the same day, or at least in the same week. Control, I feel like there's another 3 big games that come out on the 24th, and then 1 or 2 in and around that week, so it's going to be stacked. I do think Control's still my first choice for that week. But as you said, how soon will I be wrapped on Wolverine? And then you've got that push and pull. And there's other ones that are coming out in and around the same time. I actually highlighted them all in purple. So yeah, you got Dune Awakening, September 22nd. Onimusha, The Way of the Sword is the 25th. Silent Hill Townfall is also the same day. So I guess that's me not playing Silent Hill Townfall day one. As Richie hammers on his keyboard.
Yeah, I actually meant to mute that.
September 24th. Also, you've got, where are we at? Hot Wheels Infinite Rush, which you haven't really got to yet. But yeah, there's about a good handful of games coming out in and around the same week, so we shall see. But it looks great nonetheless. I'm ready for it now. I don't need to see any more. Another one, I think, Onimusha, Way of the Sword, had a really good showcase. I think there's a lot of people hyped for that who've enjoyed the previous entries. Not really for me. Marathon Season 2 had a bit of a tease. I guess they still want to keep that alive. You know what? With Marathon, everything I do see from it, from a visuals, art style point of view, and from what I'm hearing about people playing it, it is a fun extraction shooter. I just think the audience just isn't, unfortunately, there for it. That's the real, like, no matter how hard they try and how good the game is and the gameplay loop, I just think it
might find its audience, but I feel like when people are into extraction shooters, you find your game and you stick with it.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like these games, if you're not in at the ground when the genre takes off, you're done anyway, because then people stick with it until the next genre takes off.
Yeah.
So if you come in a few years late, you have to be something exceptional to get people away from their game. Because by the time Marathon's coming out, people have been playing another extraction shooter, which none are coming to mind because at the moment, probably for hundreds of hours, and it's all that progression. Do you want to start again?
Yeah, well, they're done with Destiny now, so I think it's safe to say they'll probably be starting on Destiny 3 sooner rather than later, if Sony doesn't decide to randomly shut them up. One of the ones we did see from the showcase, which not for me, but it had a really good showing, was Ill, which is the horror one. It was first person horror. I think just the visuals on it looks good. The acting was bad in the actual gameplay itself. Like, it was like verging on cheesy. However, I do think sometimes in horror, and even horror movies and shows to a degree, because there's so much like insane gore, you almost need the pantomime-esque overacting to kind of bring a little bit of levity to the panic and the fear.
I think when it comes to the acting, it's worth pointing out this is technically an indie game.
Yeah, very true.
And they've got the polish on the visuals and stuff. High-quality actors require high-quality salaries, which will very much bloat their budget. So that's potentially part of the problem. They've put the money where it matters, I feel, in this game. The acting is a bit corny here and there, but the visuals and the gore, the horror gore and all that kind of thing, looks absolutely on point.
Looks brutal, like really brutal. I think at one point he cut someone's head off, and then the head grows like tentacle legs and still keeps attacking him. It's like the minds of the people who come up with this shit. It is wild, absolutely wild. And then, we got a little bit of a tease. We've got PS Plus RuneScape Dragon Wilds is coming day 1 in October. Fantastic. We've got some PlayStation Classics coming in. PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy, which I haven't played for 20-odd years. Love that game. Think of Control before Control in terms of the telekinesis stuff. And then we got into the kind of the big two of the showcase to round things out. Made by Fire Sprite, which was nice to see. Until Dawn 2, which I think surprised a lot of people. It certainly caught me out when they started it, and it looked very Far Cry 3, Sunny Island and stuff. And then the guy from Baldur's Gate rocked up, jumping off, doing a backflip off a cliffside. The actor, I don't know what he's called. He was the one who won all the awards at Game Awards. Someone Bon, is it? Someone Bon? Either way, and the Red Ranger from the Power Rangers movie, also of Stranger Things fame. And then all of a sudden you kind of start to get into this. This feels familiar but different. It's a group of teenagers who are going exploring. And the premise of this one is, they make social media content for like haunted houses and stuff. So they basically go to these locations, but so far all the content has been faked. So they set up all the fake horror and the fake this, and they get invited by a company to go to this island and explore this fake horror thing. And then it seemingly is the horror is actually like legit and real. And then Until Dawn, typical stuff starts to ensue where there's deeper meaning. And it's just, I think it's really exciting premise, actually. A little bit different from Until Dawn, but very familiar all the same. And I'm just shocked that PlayStation have like gone back to the franchise. They've taken it away from the team that did the first one, and they've handed it over to Fire Sprite.
Who did the remake?
Oh, it must have been. It might have been Fire Sprite on behalf of Supermassive. Did Supermassive do the first one?
Supermassive were the original developers.
Yeah, that was a second party deal though, so they didn't own the IP. They just made the game.
The remake was
poorly received. I'll say that much. And then did the movie ever come out? It must have done. It must have done. My money's probably on Fire Sprite, just because if they've gone on to then make a sequel, it makes sense that they get familiar with the engine and stuff and the kind of premise of the game. That creepy Russian guy's back from Jurassic Park Lost World as well, so it's definitely connected in a meta way. But yeah, different colour palette, no longer blue, but make your decisions and they'll impact your choices. I like it. I think Until Dawn original was a good one. I think the remaster, I think what we'd all agree what killed the remaster is the stupid pricing of it. It came out at like full whack.
And it was one of them, the quality of the original stands up. Yeah. So when you do a remake of like, it felt pointless. That's I think why the sales were bad, because it's like, I feel all the remake did was stand people to go, oh, Until Dawn's fun, I'll reinstall it. There wasn't enough in the remake to warrant a remake.
Yeah.
I know they changed some of the narrative stuff. Like they changed a few narrative things, which was seemingly to link into a future. Set up Until Dawn 2, but from what we've seen of Until Dawn 2, that may be abandoned. Like, it feels like a completely different cast of characters in a completely different location.
Yeah. But we're back. It looks good.
The creepy dude is in there. What the psychiatrist or something? He's still in it.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're going to kind of jump out and be back in the psychiatrist chair and do that. And he's kind of connected the Dark Pictures anthology to a degree, I want to say, maybe. Can't remember. All these horror ones seem mildly connected. But first party game from PlayStation, who are we going to argue? Fire Sprite doing some work. It gives me hope, Richie, that we might see an Order 1886 sequel at some point if Sony have the IP. If they're willing to give Until Dawn another shot with a random other studio that isn't the original developers.
After the flop of the remake, yeah,
I hold out hope. And then to wrap things up of showcase number 1, PlayStation then went on to reveal the next Sony Santa Monica title, which is God of War Laufey, or Laufey, how are we saying it? She's just called Faye in the game, but Laufey?
I'd say Laufey because she gets called Faye. I would have pronounced it Laufey, but I think it is meant to be Laufey.
Yeah, I'm right in thinking in the Thor movies, the ice giant's called Laufey in the first one, who kind of hates Odin and shouts, like, don't go speak to Laufey, and then he goes and pisses him off, doesn't he? And that's why the ice giants aren't happy.
I think this is where I wish Tom was here, because he's much more versed in Norse mythology. He's got
tattoos.
But yeah. But I feel like I think Laufey is the mother of Loki, which
makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, spoilers, but makes sense. Yeah.
But they do this a few times though, don't they? Because like Odin's wife and stuff, Freyr, and the some in Norse mythology, like some characters are actually it's one character, but they have different iterations, and this is where mythology is so spread out. Multiple, it's like, kind of like the Bible.
Different tellings of the same mythology ends up with some characters being named different things and stuff.
And it makes sense. It gets referenced several times over. But either way, we've got God of War Laufey, which is Freyr, who is the, we thought was the dead partner of Kratos at the beginning of the 2018 game. But according to the blog, death was supposed to be the end for Freyr, warrior and wife to Kratos. However, a new adventure is just beginning. Awakening unexpectedly in a strange land after her funeral, Freyr discovers the plans she put in place to protect Kratos and Atreus are now at risk. To save the ones she loves, Freyr must fight through the afterlife of the gods, the everyone, where ruthless gods from across mythology vie for power in a land overflowing with dangerous magic. What are your thoughts,
this
Richie?
Has a lot. I have a lot of thoughts. I thought what's interesting is she is definitely dead.
She did.
Her body gets buried. You carry her ashes to the top of a mountain.
That's the whole premise. Yeah,
100% dead. But then she's went to a different realm. Is this how Kratos ended up in the Norse pantheon?
Do you think he died and went to another realm
from the Greek pantheon?
The Greek one?
Died, then was resurrected in another pantheon.
Well, this is where
maybe because he's a god, she's a god. Maybe that is what happens to the gods.
Gods don't die.
If a god is killed, they don't die. They get resurrected in another pantheon.
Well, that's it. You're really dead. But in the God of War reboot, I'm pretty sure Odin references the shit he did in Greece, so he knew of it. So it must exist in the same. I can't say realm. The same
kind of multiverse.
Yeah.
But Kratos died. Hypothetically, Kratos dies in the Greek pantheon and gets resurrected in the Norse one. And now Freyr is died in the Norse one, has ended up in a different pantheon.
Does Kratos die in the originals? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm
just speculating here. Maybe this is how it works, because it's never explained how Kratos got there to begin with. So that's just it's never mentioned. It's mentioned that about history existed.
Yeah.
So this is the same Kratos from the originals, but how? Maybe this is bridging that gap. Potentially.
In terms of bridging the gap, then, Richie, there's been a lot of discourse online, as you can imagine. We've replaced a male protagonist with a female protagonist.
No, we haven't.
It's apparently
replaced anything.
It's apparently what no one was asking for, and a bunch of other stuff. Whereas I enjoyed it. I thought the gameplay looked fun and frenetic. The graphics looked as gorgeous as the previous two entries in God of War looked. I love the thought of different mythologies being kind of gathered in one place. It actually reminds me a little bit of Thor: Love and Thunder, where there's just all these like various gods gathering for tourneys and tournaments with it is Zeus, isn't it? It's played by Russell Crowe in the movie, when there's like all these different gods like just sat around an arena chilling out in some kind of like hidden realm. And we know there's the 9 realms within Norse mythology. You visit most of them with Kratos across the previous 2 games, and now he's a new one, and we get 2 different gods of war. And I think that's what's quite ironic, is people who were saying there's no God of War in the game. Kratos is in the game, and then you get the 2 kind of antagonists who show up when she's first reborn. Is Sekhmet, who's the god of war of Egyptian mythology, and Bext, I think it's called, who's the one of Mongolian Buddha mythology. So you've already seen 2 gods of war, plus Kratos in this kind of long 20-minute gameplay that they did.
So that's more gods of war than any other god of war.
Well, we've had Ares right in the other one, but what I love the thought,
Kratos becomes a god of war after killing Ares.
That is true.
So still just one.
That's true. But what I do love is the thought of, because the gameplay opened with, of course, her ashes being burnt. You see the opening of 2018 with Atreus and Kratos. Almost like the timelines are going to be running adjacent to each other. So everything Freyr's doing in this other world is happening at the same time. Kratos and Atreus are climbing the mountain to scatter her ashes to the wind. So I feel like there could be some overlap of consequences, especially if Kratos is killing certain gods on the route up to the end of 2018's game. Are they just going to be dropping into this world where Freyr's at as like potential talking points, companions?
Maybe she does in this game that allows Kratos and Atreus to move forward and you haven't even realised. But
Yeah.
this is where people are saying, oh, they've replaced the male protagonist with female protagonists. It's like, no, what they're doing is they're telling a new story in that universe. And I'm intrigued to see how they expand on the universe by this game.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, who cares if you're playing as a woman? We've been playing as a woman since the 80s with like Samus Aran in Metroid. Like, get over it.
Lara Croft.
Like, Lara Croft, yeah.
Literally 25, 30 years an icon of gaming. But it's just the internet, isn't it? So we shouldn't read too much into it. Yeah. I thought the gameplay looked fun. The premise of the world looks great. It's Santa Monica, who I wholly trust. The last 2 games of theirs I've played have been absolute 10 out of 10. Loved them both. I love the thought of exploring other mythologies. It's something I'm really interested in different mythologies anyway. So merging that, I do kind of wish they'd just gone directly back and did like an Egyptian mythology and maybe had Kratos go back to... But we are getting the remake of 1, 2, and 3, right? We're getting the whole trilogy to bring them up to speed.
But they still could.
Yeah, I mean...
This game doesn't stop them. Yeah, this game doesn't stop them going back. Perhaps through the course of this game, Kratos learns that Laufey is alive in Egypt, then goes to Egypt.
Yeah.
And that's the next setup for the next game. This could be required to set up the next Kratos adventure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we know he's coming back because he's the poster boy. In a way, I am kind of disappointed a little bit that if this is Cory Barlog's second game he's been working on, that he's been toiling away for many years, and we do get another one of the same IP. It doesn't take away from how great it'll be, but I was really hoping they'd spin off and have another IP on the go. Naughty Dog have done it so well. Insomniac have done it fantastically. Guerrilla Games did it fantastically. And I was just kind of... It would be nice for them to break away from that a little bit. I don't know, but again, it's not taken away from this entry. I would have liked something new from them as well at the same time.
But what if... We don't have a date on this yet, do we?
No, we do not.
So what if, after this game comes out, fairly immediately after... the next God of War is revealed, and the reason he's got 2 projects on the go is to keep the cadence up, because he's got a lot of stories in that universe to tell. Sometimes it can be better for a developer to be focused on an IP, because I don't feel like it's like, as I mentioned earlier with, what was it? Blanking on Silent Hill. I feel like you're not going to get one of these every year.
No, certainly
but
not.
if you get one every 3 years, instead of every 6 years, that could be good.
Yeah, and we don't know how long it's going to be yet, so it might be a shorter experience. It might be the same length. It might tie in. And for all the people complaining, Kratos might be in it. It might pivot and you might play as him halfway through, or he might be brought into the afterlife, because there's nothing to say in 2018, when he's fighting people and he goes through not the Rainbow Bridge, what's it called? I guess it is the Rainbow Bridge. We know what I mean, the Bifrost stuff, when he's traveling between realms. What's to say the time distortion between that doesn't play with it? And actually, when Kratos gets knocked unconscious when he's in these fights, he doesn't spend 2 hours in Frey's world, and then when he comes back, because you see it in the trailer, doesn't he? He literally gets her up off the ground and goes, keep fighting or something, and then disappears into gold ether. What's to say the way the timelines line up is he's not dreaming, he's maybe asleep in his own world and having... Because if I'm right, in Ragnarok, he has dreams of Freyr, or flashbacks with Freyr, not Freyr.
Does, yeah.
So I think there could be a clever, ethereal connection, which actually does bridge the gap a little bit. It's all magic.
I feel like this might be the start of them doing almost an alternating thing, where they're going to go do a side character story, then a main Kratos story. So it might be, it's God of War Laufey, then you're going to go to God of War 3, then you're going to maybe do God of War Loki.
We heard about Atreus.
Because I've speculated how cool would be an Atreus side game.
Yeah. I mean, it's that once you built the world, why wouldn't you want to see more? It's not like Norse mythology is not rich for the picking in terms of stories and characters. There's entire anthologies wrote off the back of it.
But the beauty of God of War and what they're doing here is they're not keeping the tie to Norse, expanding on that.
Very true. Let's see some more. But look, the only thing that stood out for me that was a bit odd was the gelatinous cube. Yeah. Because everything felt very, not grounded for lack of a better term, but you know what I mean? It felt very high fantasy, mythology, swords and arrows and a bit of magic. And then the kind of sci-fi-ness of a space cube kind of took me a little bit. I didn't mind it. I think...
the cube has a sword in it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what do you think the sword is? Is it Excalibur? Or is it going to be like another famous sword from mythology, like a Mjolnir?
I feel like the cube is going to be explained. I think by the time you finish playing this game, the cube's going to make sense.
Yeah.
Because it does, even in some of the key art, it just stands out.
It's odd.
Like, it's a bit odd.
It's odd, yeah. I did see one of the podcasts I was listening to joke and say, imagine if the cube was just a placeholder and it's actually a whole different real character and the cube is there just to get the trailer out and it's actually a fully fledged like humanoid character.
They didn't want to spoil the character, so they just put a cube in its place. And found it funny. It was just like an in-joke.
Yeah, like imagine if the cube is actually like a full god from another mythology. It just was like, we just hadn't rendered his assets correctly yet.
Imagine if it is literally like Ares, like the cube is Ares.
I mean, we don't know. It's who's the voice? It's Huey from The Boys who's voicing it.
His first wife. Who was Kratos' first wife?
Oh, let's take it. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, speaking of wives, I'm pretty sure Kratos killed both his first wife and son. So he's not the best husband to begin with, and Frey's now dead as well, so he's not got a good track record.
We've all done stupid things and now passed out with regret.
Well, maybe not that much, but God of War Laufey, we don't know when it's out. As with a couple of these things, the showcase, and a lot of the showcases were actually wish lists now, which was one of my other kind of disappointments across the week. Was just like wish list, or 2027. I'm like, I'd like a little bit more of a concrete window thing, please.
It's there for investors. That's what it is.
True.
So they can go, look how many people got the wish list for our game. Give us some more money. That's all it is. Like,
but PlayStation, in a nutshell, I thought it was a good showing, not the best. I did feel like the last state of play they had was the absolute banger.
Yeah.
But there's a few things.
Because starting with Wolverine, ending with a new God of War, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
And some interesting stuff in between.
Agreed. And there's still time to get more in before the end of the year. But yeah, overall, PlayStation State of Play, let us know in the comments below what your thoughts were. What was your standout one as we move on to the second chronologically that we got, which was Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. So just like the Game Awards, Jeff gets together, rounds up as many people as he can to do a stage showcase, talking about games, and he opened with a bit of a banger as well, Richie. He brought Capcom on a roll back the table with not Code Veronica, just Veronica. Just brought Veronica back in another trailer that showcased off. I don't think a lot of people knew what it was to begin with.
I didn't. When I was watching it, I was feeling this feels Resident Evil.
Looks Capcom-y.
Because I've never played Code Veronica. Because this is a remake of Code Veronica.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't know what this is. Like, is this something new by Capcom? But no, it is a remake of Code Veronica. I think we're through because it's set in Paris.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people going, I don't remember it that well or anything being set in Paris. I've heard this is the kind of prequel to the game starting, so I don't know how much of it is in maybe like memos and notes, and there's not actually anything concrete. Because like many people, I've not played Code Veronica. I know there was rumours that we were going to maybe get Resident Evil 0, or we maybe get, what's the other one?
Remake of 1 was...
Remake of 1, yeah, sorry, 0 and 1. A lot of people were hoping
for, but...
I mean, we probably still will.
It was between them three what would be the next remake, and they've clearly went for Code Veronica.
But you know what, in the grander scheme of things, I think, again, Capcom getting their wins in, right? They've just had huge success with Resident Evil Requiem, and then now they're going to pivot and go back to the well for some old stuff, which no doubt between Veronica coming out, they'll probably have the next mainline entry lined up. And we just have this back and forth 1-2 cadence. So I definitely think we'll probably see 0 in the imminent future. And I definitely think we will see 1 remake, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Hopefully.
But just for me, it just means that I've got to get my ass into gear and play 2, 3, and 4 remake before Veronica comes out. Or if Veronica's first, do I hold off? I don't know where the timeline fits, but they've dropped the code. RE Engine looking fantastic. And,
I don't feel like you need to play them in order, so I don't think you do now.
Yeah. I feel like I'm that deep in having played all the other ones now, and I know enough about the lore and the characters. I mean, as far as Requiem goes, I've played many hours as Leon now, so going back to played number 2 is a bit weird because he's like a young kid in that one and a rookie cop, whereas I've played him as a hardened veteran. But the games look gorgeous, they're fun to play, and Veronica, it's not Claire Redfield, right?
Claire Redfield is a character,
I know
but
that.
I don't know who's the main characters in Code Veronica.
Yeah, it is. So reading from the original Code Veronica X, is it called X? Yeah, Code Veronica X on the PS2. That's the copy I've got. Came with a playable demo for Devil May Cry. Just as an FYI. That one says, experience the most terrifying chapter in survival horror as it transforms onto the PlayStation 2. After narrowly surviving the horrific onslaught in Raccoon City, Claire Redfield now seeks clues in search of her missing brother Chris Redfield. To her horror, she discovers Umbrella Corporation's insidious activities are not isolated to the remote Midwestern city. No, something much larger is going on here. And then it goes on to bullet point. Flesh-eating zombies and horrific beasts haunt Claire's every move. Stunning environments. Learn the secrets of Umbrella Corporation's activities throughout incredible, never-seen-before FMV cutscenes. Huge areas to explore, bigger than all previous Resident Evil adventures. And unlock hidden game modes, battle mode, first-person mode, and play as hidden characters. And then...
So they've been doing first-person mode all the way back since Code Veronica.
Gone to this. Well, it says hidden game extra, so... And then, yeah, Devil May Cry. 9 out of 10 from PlayStation 2 official magazine. But yeah, I know it's one of the revered ones. But yeah, we see, I guess, Claire get grabbed from behind and she looks great in the RE engine. And yeah, here we are. REV, which is not 5, it's Veronica. But yeah, here we are. Terrible cover, by the way, for the original.
Oh god, that's bad.
It's like they've just took the game assets face and that's it.
Made it huge.
It doesn't look very Resident Evil, does it? Really, I would have thought it'd be like a Virtua Fighter game of some sort, but yeah, it doesn't hold up great. So I'm sure they'll go with a much better cover for the new one. But yeah,
we need to keep going at a pace here.
Yeah. What a way to kick it off. So that was a good one. We then got a new Cuphead adventure. They announced that we're going to do Cuphead 2 is in development, but there's a new Cuphead. It's called Mighty Cuphead Adventure, which is coming. Did you also see, Richie, for the Cuphead one, that they're going to release an actual cart for like an actual Sega cartridge. Master System cartridge, yeah.
That's awesome.
For the game. Which means it must be running on a genuine, like, low-res engine, I guess.
Yeah, it's an 8-bit action platformer, so maybe they have actually just made the game in 8-bit.
And they're able to compress it down.
Instead of trying to emulate 8-bit, they might have just made it in 8-bit.
It looks like, which Mario game does it look like? It's definitively, because the little 3D vegetables running around, it reminds me of the SNES.
Is it 2? Mario World 2?
Yeah, it might be. Like, a lot more colourful, lots of little veggies, and it definitely has that, like, colour pop from Mario.
They've got that CRT effect going on the trailer as well.
Yeah, that looked great. Next up, we got Alien Isolation 2. Creative Assembly.
A bit of a surprise, this one.
It was. I think we knew it was coming because they'd announced it in line with, I think, some of the movie buyouts and move-arounds that have happened. I think it was a surprise. But do you think this has the chops to do as well, or is the first one just a cult classic and then it's been that long?
I think the first one's a cult classic, and what made it so good was... it felt like the Xenomorph was actually stalking you, and things like the use. I know I played before with our friends on Xbox with the Kinect, and the Kinect would pick up your voices and it would detect your voice. So I have that brought in another level of immersion. Mm-hmm. I wonder, does it feel a bit dated now? Like because it was kind of groundbreaking at the time, but have we surpassed it? So it'd be interesting to see what they've done, what a modern take on that game is. Yeah,
they did come on stage and say that it's going a bit more open world in a sense of like, yes, you have the claustrophobia of the ship, but then they're going to be a little bit more open world where you're going to be able to leave and it's going to hunt you in the wild a little bit more, which I think can go either way. Where I think the uniqueness of the first one was that claustrophobic. I'm just going through vents, and
it took you very much back to the first Alien film where it did feel claustrophobic because you are on the ship, you are isolated.
Yeah,
up there, and yeah, it'd be interesting. I can't imagine the open world bits being too huge. probably more, I'm guessing, instead of being on a spaceship, you're probably on a space station on the crashed on the planet or something.
Yeah, they say in their blog, on a remote storm-ravaged colony world, players will endure the elements as they navigate the planet's surface and explore the claustrophobic confines of the Wayland Yutani outpost. So it was going to remind me a little bit of Still Wakes the Deep, I want to say, where you're on like an oil rig and you're kind of stuck in there and like the weather's crap outside. You are cut off from the rest of humanity. It says it's a new hunting ground for the alien, forcing players to improvise and develop new tools, techniques, and tactics to survive the deadly game of cat and mouse. Creative director of Creative Assembly said, "It's been over a decade since we created the original Alien Isolation. I'm excited to show everyone the first glimpse of the sequel. Our dedicated survival team have been working hard to create a new, evolved isolation experience, continuing the legacy of the franchise, making the killer smarter, the environment harsher, and the chance of survival slimmer." So I think, again, it's the same old school team getting the band back together 10 years later. So hopefully they took all the feedback and all what made the original one so good and just built on that. So that looks pretty great. Moving on, though, we got Gen Atlas, which is from the guy who made your Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian. It's his first game in like a decade plus. We had a little teaser, if you remember, at the Game Awards where it was like a robot's head in the ocean and someone climbed into its skull and then the head popped off and flew away as like a massive tidal wave swept away the body. Very Interstellar style. I still don't feel like we know anything more about Gen Atlas. I don't know if you've picked anything up.
From the bits of gameplay we saw, I think I'm a bit disappointed in this because it looks like it's going to be a third-person action shooter where the Team Eco games are very kind of unique in the sensibilities. This feels like it looks like just it came across as quite generic sci-fi to me.
Is there shooting in it?
Yes.
I've just seen the big giant kind of headship base that he has. But yeah, I think I would agree with that on that take. Like all the previous games were more, I guess, minimalist is the best way you would explain them.
Yeah.
Where like there's something really refreshing in, it's just a stunningly beautiful world, very definitive art style, and very little spoken word. I feel like in any of them, it was more...
They're more artistic. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Where I feel this does just come across from this trailer. It looks beautiful, but it just does look like another sci-fi shooter.
Looks very, near the end, it looks very
I'm
rock,
sure
rock
there's
and
more
sock and
to
robot.
it, but...
It's hard to get that across, I think. When you think Last Guardian, I was thinking like the giant bird dog. Is it Trico? I think he's called. Trico. And then, I think of Shadow of the Colossus, I think of like the massive landscapes and like the little tiny guy on the horse and these like big Goliaths moving around. It was very like awe-inspiring.
And the emotional storytelling without any dialogue and literally like 8 enemies in the entire game. Mm-hmm. Quote unquote enemies.
Enemies, working together. Right. A lot of games in this one, Richie, so I don't know where you want to jump around. Shout out to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Can't wait for that one. Tick yes, but we don't need to talk anymore. The one that I think should be great, even though I'm not really all about it, was The Last Ronin. I don't know if you know this one, purely because it comes from a comic book series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where it's basically all the other turtles have been killed bar one, and he's basically out for blood, out for vengeance. So all the kind of the good guy Ninja Turtles is gone. It's basically like a proper like 18 plus comic book of gore and violence. Think John Wick with one remaining Ninja Turtle. The cool thing with him is he collects all the weapons of the rest of his team, so you have all the weapons. It's been made by Platinum, so I think like hack and slash action game. But The Last Ronin is like supposed to be a dark gritty. So in my mind, I'm like dark gritty, cityscape in the sewers, looking for vengeance with maybe Arkham style combat, I think is what they've teased before. So I could just see it being like, even though it should be a kid's comic book game, it could be fucking brutal, and I'm all there for a dark take on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's worth noting, I think the original developers basically got sacked, and they restarted with Platinum.
Well,
and the only slight disappointment I have so far is the trailer had literally nothing.
Nothing. It was just another re-reveal, I guess.
Yes, that's it. It's like I felt a little bit when I watched and goes, okay. I felt like it didn't need to be here.
Yeah,
if you didn't have anything to show apart from a title card, maybe don't be here. Maybe wait till Game Awards or something.
Well, there is a subplot to why it's here, and it's because Paramount also announced a new production studio this week, Paramount Game Studio. So that they're going big on TMNT, Star Trek, SpongeBob, and everything else. So they've basically created like a multimedia team that was announced this Friday alongside this trailer. They're going to see all the company's video game development. So starting with The Last Ronin, which has been announced. They're also leading on the Amy Hennig Black Panther and Captain America game for Marvel. So they do have 2 internal studios already. But they said more Paramount games are going to be announced shortly. It sounds like the studio seemingly has ambitions. They've got the likes of like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Top Gun, Mission Impossible.
Is this an actual developer or publisher, or is this just a company that's been set up to manage the IP?
Well, reading from their post, they say the biggest changes prior to the merger between Paramount and Skydance had already invested in game development. That's the Amy Hennig one. So we had 2 Skydance game studios, Skydance New Media under Amy Hennig. I was doing Marvel 1943, and Skydance Interactive, which is did the Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. They do like VR little bits on the side. And then it was understood when the merger happened that the company would prioritize games, and they've seemingly done that by combining them all to be a new pillar alongside film, TV, and now games. So similar to Warner Brothers games, I guess, where they own a lot of IP and they want to rinse it for as much as possible, and they see games as an avenue for that.
So it's basically, this is a company that's been set up to manage the IP, help like create the studios that's going to work on the IP, and potentially serve as the publisher.
Looks like that, yeah. Looks like that. Okay, so where do we jump from here? Where do we go?
Fortnite got a new season now, which was disappointing because Ben Starr, it's the way Ben Starr was announced. It's like, oh yeah, he's Verso and he's Clive Rossfield, and now he's going to talk about Fortnite. It's like, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah,
don't need to say anything more on that.
It pays the bills, doesn't it? Yeah. Crossfire.
Yeah, tell me more about Crossfire.
So Crossfire is a third-person tactical action adventure with a mixture of stealth and action. It's basically a third-person military shooter, but very narrative-driven.
And this is from Division devs, I believe, as well. So they've got some pedigree in the kind of cover-based story narrative shooters, team-based shooters. This is the one that's got it's got like co-op, hasn't it? It's centered around co-op gameplay.
Did it have co-op? I didn't pick up on that.
I'm sure that was the whole premise of the game. Is like there's 2 of you essentially, or maybe 3 of you in a fire team, and they did emphasize it's story driven.
That's interesting.
Oh no! I mean, it might not be solely co-op. It might just be optional co-op.
When I say that's less interesting, I mean that's less interesting to me. It doesn't take away the quality of the game, but it's then not something I probably will be playing.
The action looks fun, isn't it?
It does. It looks decent, which is why I brought it up. But I'm just not interested in a co-op game like that.
Do we have any more details on it?
Not really, to be honest. I'll have a look at the blog.
While the trailer's playing.
Yeah, so Crossfire is revealed. Third-person tactical action blends stealth ground. The cover system changes the player's stance in response to the terrain, so that's fairly normal. As well as enemies around you. It essentially allows the characters to remain in cover despite their changing environment. So they've put a lot of effort into the cover mechanics to probably stop you just like these harsh things where you move from one patch of grass to a bit of somewhere else, and suddenly all enemies can see you. Yeah,
I like the thought of it being story driven, because I think initially you immediately think like, oh, it's just going to go multiplayer and people are going to attack you, where it does seem there's some like character development between these 2 main protagonists and the wider team jumping around. And don't know if you've seen the trailer, when someone dies, there's kind of like this black ether that goes up into the air and connects to another body. I don't know if that's like reviving a teammate at the same time or bring them in. But it looks different. I'll give them that. It looks different. And we'll probably see more. In fact, is it part of the wider Crossfire universe? I feel like we've had 7 games called Crossfire. We had Crossfire X on VR, right?
I can't get any actual confirmation that it is a co-op game.
Oh, maybe it isn't then. Maybe I've misinterpreted that as just two people on the screen.
As a single player only, this is reading from the wiki.
Oh, okay.
As a single player only video game set in the Crossfire universe. So yes, it is in the Crossfire universe.
I don't know what that is, but yes.
You brought it up.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just know we've had previous Crossfire games. I feel like Firesprite did one.
It is a single player. It is a single player game, and it's from XM Call of Duty devs.
Oh, Call of Duty, not Division.
And Naughty Dog devs.
Naughty Dog devs, okay.
There's some Naughty Dog devs on this. Doesn't say who at a quick glance, and to be honest, we've got a lot of showcase still to cover.
That's why Crossfire X was Remedy. It was the one Remedy worked with Xbox. I knew there was some kind of tangential link to something else.
Yeah.
Mafia, the old country, getting some story DLC coming 14th of August, which is fantastic. Gives me
I
a
also
reason
like
to
when
go
games
back.
get the DLC before get around to playing them.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to benefit you, the player, isn't it? Over
because I don't like going back to games after I've like put it down and go, right, I'm done with that game. The DLC gets announced and goes, I can't be bothered with it.
True. Star Wars Galactic Racer gets a date of 6th of August. That looks great. We got also a trailer for Star Wars Zero Company, which is the XCOM style game. That's being dated as well for the 27th of August. So you're getting two very different Star Wars games within a couple of weeks of each other, which is always spot on. The other one that jumped out for me was 1666 Amsterdam. Not only because it looks like a prequel to the Order 1886, Richie, but just it stood out for me in terms of it's just like the gothic nature of the trailer and everything. It looked really interesting and intriguing.
You don't get many games set in Amsterdam.
You don't actually.
It did jump out at me a bit, and it's from the original creator of Assassin's Creed.
That was it. That was the one that had me going like, okay, I'll sit up and listen a little bit in that world.
It just seemed to have like that kind of gothic mysticism going on.
Yeah, the game.
I think it's going to be interesting.
Game merges witchcraft and time travel as you fight against dangerous foes by switching between two protagonists, Noah and Aaron. Noah is where you'll be embracing witchcraft, while Aaron is a cat. But you didn't see that twist coming in there. What else have we got? 007 First Light Story Mission. We already touched on that one. Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance, which is the biggest expansion of the game so far, coming next year. So it looks like Capcom are not willing to let Monster Hunter Wilds go without a fight. That's coming. Clutch did get a trailer, which is the racing one I mentioned earlier on. And then I guess as we got towards the end of the show, we got The Wolf Among Us is back, which is great as someone who just finished The Wolf Among Us on my PlayStation Vita. You played that first time round, right?
Yeah,
as well. I feel like it was more of just a reshowing of something we already knew was announced, but they've put a year on it at least this time, 2027. But I guess the bigger news is that we're getting a remaster of the original coming out later this year. Which
I think is actually a really good move.
I mean, I saw it and I was like, fantastic, but at the same time, having just finished the game recently, I'd quite happily go back and play it all again on my PlayStation 5.
But I feel like it's like the perfect time to do a remaster is the it's way long time ago that it first came out. Let's bring out the remaster, get people refreshed on it in time for number 2.
Yeah. And I'm guessing probably a way to test the engine, because they ain't using Telltale's old shitty engine. So
yeah,
if they're doing their assets and stuff, that seems like a smart choice to get grips with that one.
Well, actually, the original's delisted as well, isn't it?
I wouldn't be surprised with Telltale going bust.
Which might be why that might be another reason for a remaster, because then they can actually start selling it again.
Get some money in the tank.
Well, let us know in the comments on that one if it has been delisted.
Absolutely. And then Stellar Blade Blood Rain, which I think shocked a lot of people, purely because I feel like the last Stellar Blade only came out like the other day.
Yeah.
Very
Stellar
different.
Blade's a game I do want to play, especially after watching the trailer for Blood Rain. I felt like where Stellar Blade went wrong is their marketing focused on the hypersexualization, where there's way more to the game than that.
Yes.
But they made a choice with their deliberate choice with the marketing, and the internet did the internet thing on it. So
yeah,
I don't think they were a bit probably naive the way they showcased that game. They learned with the way they showcased this one.
I mean, to a degree, I did think, because it's
Yeah.
a different protagonist this time around, they cut to a different lady. And I thought with the kind of cape poncho thing that she had on, but then inevitably when it got into the combat, the poncho flew off, the jiggly ass cheeks were there, and it was like, they know what they're doing.
Every shot is not either down at the boobs or up at the ass, because the first Stellar Blade trailer was very much that.
Oh, some of the skins and when she was going down ladders and stuff.
And a bit of combat. So I think that's it. It's how they're marketing the game. It's probably not that much different to the original Stellar Blade in that sense, but how they're showing it off for the first time, I think, is different. And I think it's then one of them, like, it makes you take the game that little bit more serious.
Yeah, it's almost like it's matured across to the sequel, the franchise. Like, even just visually, like, to me, if you told me this was a sequel, it looks nothing like the opening. Like, I played the demo for Stellar Blade, and you, like, kind of crash on a remote planet when there's warfare going on, and you explore abandoned, like, reclaimed cityscape, like, demolished, a bit like The Last of Us, but, like, very, like, bright and vibrant still. Had some boss fights. Combat was fun. The gameplay was good. I actually enjoyed what I played of it, but I think at the time it just was never going to break through to my day one purchase or play again. Whereas this has gone very, like, dark cyberpunk, mutant monsters and creatures alike everywhere, and yeah, chaos ensues. But I guess the underlying story of this one is it's not published by Sony, so it ain't exclusive anymore. It's they're self-publishing it this time round.
And we don't know whether this actually ties into the original Stellar Blade, or that just like doing the Final Fantasy thing where it's a completely different thing. Could
be a good tactic to, like, if your franchise is so successful early doors, then
instead of getting locked into that same character, change it up straight away.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping they do that with Expedition 33 in the same way. It's like, we've got the world, but we don't need to follow all these characters necessarily in the sequel. We could very much just exist in this world. Maybe they can be there, they can exist, but it doesn't need to focus on them.
I feel that's what I would like to do with Expedition 33. And expand on the world, because we know there's way more to that world already. They've planted the seeds on. Have some of the characters return in some narrative roles, but not necessarily as your party members.
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, we know it's going to sell loads, and because it's self-published, that means it's probably go multi-platform quicker, so it'll sell a good few copies. But I'm sure you're expecting the same combat and jiggliness you expected in the first Stellar Blade. But yeah, Stellar Blade Blood Rain didn't give us a date for it. It's still, I'd imagine, just based on the time frame, it's probably very early in production, even though it looked like a very competent, put-together trailer. You can't imagine the turnaround a game in, 2-3 years that quickly, so who knows what's going on. But Shift Up are definitely all over that one as they tick through it. And then, Richie, I'll hand it over to you for the final entry in the series, Final Fantasy 5, 6, 7, 8. Is it remake? 7? Remake? Part 3? Revelation? I've lost Richie briefly for a second there as he pops back in.
Remake,
perhaps.
Part 3. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're back.
Yeah,
the
internet went a bit sketchy for a minute there while you're talking about Stellar Blade. But yes, next up, finally, the reveal of Final Fantasy VII Revelation, as we now know it's called, which is the third and final part of the Final Fantasy VII remake trilogy.
It's a mouthful.
It is, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm 100% in. It looks exactly, it's going to the places that it's a weird one, this, because with it being a remake and the third part of a remake, I knew exactly what to expect of, like, what characters are going to be in it, where they're going to go, what areas, because they're retelling the story. These differences between, obviously, the original 7 and the 7 remake trilogy. They move things around narratively, but then you still know roughly what places we haven't been to yet on this adventure that we still need to go. But I think it looks incredible. I cannot wait to get my hands on this.
I think I might have to wait for, like, a collection of the, like, all three bundled together as one complete game. Because I mean, when they're jumping out of the helicopter thing, whatever, the helicarrier thing, it looks so big. And I know, like, the original 2 are, like, 70 hours, give or take?
7 isn't too bad. Remake isn't too bad. Rebirth, I burned out on the platinum after about 80 hours, and I still had a full playthrough to do.
Wow.
It's worse than Final Fantasy 16.
Right.
Like, games really, really, really need to stop doing multiple playthroughs required on big games for platinum trophies. Yeah. It sucks. It just sucks.
That is a lot.
Like, and it's to the point where it's like it takes something away, the enjoyment of the game away, because I'd love to turn around and say I have the platinum in Rebirth, but I was not willing to put the right required amount of time in, and I think that the devs were asking way too much.
Yeah. So,
but I am still 100% in for Revelation.
So we got it. Remake, Rebirth, Revelation. We got the name.
Yep.
I think we guessed that one actually seemed to be like the most fitting.
I was thinking it was going to be Reunion, but Revelation makes sense as well.
Yeah. Spring 2027. So not too far away, all things considered. And that was the Summer Game Fest roundup. So book opened up with Resident Evil Veronica. Book rounded out with Final Fantasy Revelation. As we should know, coming to Xbox day one as well. So no kind of time PlayStation exclusivity, which we think they renegotiated that in the background. I think Square Enix said in the last year or something that they were going to go.
Square Enix have been trying to get out that deal for a while.
Yeah. So it seems like they've probably done that right.
To be honest, it's probably more the Switch 2 rather than the Xbox that they care about.
Yeah, getting back.
Not being harsh to, I'm being a bit harsh to Xbox, but it's number of like units. So
yeah, definitely
sold.
Absolutely. But again, if we missed anything from Summer Game Fest, anything that we haven't covered that we should have done, time is of the essence, but apologies. Let us know in the comments on our Discord server what we should get around to talking to, and we'll cover these games in the months and years to come anyway. Sunday, though, Richie, mere hours ago, kicked off with the Xbox Showcase event, and they started things with going big with Xbox exclusive.
Xbox console exclusive. So theory it comes to PC.
Gears of War, I think it's pre-order's already up on Steam. Gears of War E-Day, we knew this was going to be at the end of the event as well, as they went into a deeper dive for gameplay. It looks gorgeous. It looks great. It shows us the crew without their armor on for the first time. I feel like this is the first time we haven't seen them with the shoulder pads and the bulky gear.
From what we can tell from the trailer, this is a story of how Marcus Phoenix joins is it the Gears?
The Cogs, yeah.
Yeah, the Cogs, yeah. I think this is the story of how he joins them.
Well, I think his brother at the beginning died. They went in the deep dive trailer after. I only caught it briefly because
I haven't watched the dev direct after.
Yeah, it did what you showed. It showed destructive environments. It showcased more fidelity, more open areas and stuff. Everything you'd expect. The best version of Gears has ever been. But yeah, I think Mark's
still
brother,
being a Gears game. I think that's the key here.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. It looks really fun. It looks gorgeous. The weapons, the destruction look fantastic. Looks like there's a bit more motion. You can now slide as well. So I think the Gears of games as ground as they always felt, they did feel a bit clunky. And I think when we went back to play 1 and 2 on the channel, they were fun.
Weird run felt very heavy.
The little shuffle run, yeah. I just want a bit more freedom of movement. But it looks to Talos, and we know this is E-Day stands for Emergence Day, so it's going to be like when shit hit the fan, essentially, first time round. And we'll get to that. But I guess the biggest news that comes out of that is Asher Sharman opened the show after the trailer and said, this is going to be an Xbox console exclusive. There was reports as of yesterday, Friday, Saturday, basically saying that this was a last-minute decision to take this away from PlayStation. And here we are, Richie. Thoughts on, I guess, the biggest story other than the game, because the game looks fantastic, is just they've pivoted back to exclusivity for console coming October 6th.
There's a couple ways to look at it. I think for Xbox brand, this is a good decision, but for the game itself, it's a bad decision. Because this has went from being probably a must-play to I'm probably not going to play.
Same, I think.
Because I don't really want to play this on my Series S. I have no interest in buying the Series X at this point. I feel like Xbox games, if they're going exclusive again, and this is the start of it, it's then going to push them back into games that, I'll don't get around to playing. Because there's plenty of other games that we've been talking about, unfortunately, that I could be playing that are coming to my console preference of choice.
Yeah, I think they went to a big win initially with Game Pass when we got our consoles, and then as time went on, I know our audience knows us anyway.
I regret buying a Series S, not an X.
Yeah, I'm the same with that. However, now they've let the genie out of the bottle with all the exclusives and franchises going elsewhere. I bought the Gears of War remaster day one. I played it day one, and I enjoyed it. I completed the story. And I kind of had my appetite whetted of thinking, like, I'll play the others on Game Pass, and I'll get round to when the new one comes out, looking forward to it, and getting it on my PS5. Because that's my preference. If I'm going to buy a game, full price, day one, I want it on the shelf behind me. And then for them to kind of walk that back, I feel like I've been done a disservice in a little way. Like, I understand the business things, and yes, you're right, it's great, but I do worry about the sales of the game because everyone's going to play it on Game Pass. It's not on PS5 anymore. It probably ain't going to be on Switch 2. So just that potential customer base, and I know we chatted about it and some folks have on our Discord, is that the reality is they're in third place. They only have roughly 30 million consoles on the market. That is the smallest pool compared to the 80 million odd PS5s, the 60 odd million Switch 2s. PC will probably bump their numbers up if they're still doing a Steam release. You know what I feel? I just feel like they're sending this out to do poorly.
I don't think they'll do a Steam release, but they will be available on PC.
I think it's up on Steam already.
Is this game, in all seriousness, strong enough to be a console seller? I'm not sure it is. It looks like the best version of a Gears game.
100%.
But is the Gears formula a bit too dated to get people to fork out the money for the console, especially with the current prices of consoles?
Yeah.
So it's like, this is where I'm at. It's like, I'm not invested in Gears enough after our playthrough of 1 and 2 on the channel to make this a guaranteed day and date.
Yeah.
So, and then because it's not coming to PlayStation, I feel this is going to a game that's, unfortunately for me, is going to come and go.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people like that because back to the same old thing Phil said is they lost the digital generation. So I think as PS5s had seemingly with very little first-party exclusives or necessary pull, it still sold 85 million units, which is nearly 3 to 1 on the Xbox. So you're right, and just like that user base, I don't think is there. And as you said, I don't think people are going to jump ship from their preference now. I'm certainly not. I don't think any of our friends who we know really are. And
your chance to get people to do that is at the start of a new generation.
Yeah.
But with the current way the world is and how fast console prices are going up, I feel like a new generation isn't going to help you now. I think it's just going to hurt more. I have no interest in the PS6 or Project Helix right now at all. I hope that's at least 5 years away.
It's all about the money. Yeah. And of course, we have our own use case basis for that. But it is up on Steam for pre-order, by the way, so it does exist there. But yeah, I just feel like, man, I was looking forward to playing it and I would have bought it day one. And now I'm like, I don't really want to play it on my Series S if it can even run it. I'm not, as you said, I'm not going to drop 500, 600, 700, 800, whatever the ridiculous prices of the new Project Helix. I'm not in the market to buy a Series X now because I'm at the end of the generation cycle, although the 25th anniversary one does look pretty sweet, which we'll talk about.
It does, yeah. It does.
And I just feel like, oh man, I was looking forward to that. And when it went console exclusive, I was like, you fuckers. But I guess Xbox fans, like, it's Asher doing what the audience have been begging it to do.
Yeah.
But then we get into the rest of the showcase, Richie, and everything else is going multi-platform. So let's talk about that.
There was one other game that was console exclusive.
Yeah. Which, we can mention now. It's Clockwork Revolution. It's at the end. We've already seen plenty of it, but that's, So 2. Gears, Ida, and Clockwork Revolution, which I think looks great. But again, is anyone dropping a couple hundred bills to get a console just to play Clockwork Revolution? When they can play Forza elsewhere, they can play Fable elsewhere, they can play Halo Campaign Remastered elsewhere.
I feel, though, this is the start of a trend that Asher's going to go down, where there's a lot of games in this list that are not exclusive, but if they were all exclusive, suddenly that Xbox library of the next few years is looking very spicy.
But can they afford to sink those costs in to make it work? Because I just think they're so far down the road in third place. I don't think they can't turn the ship around. I don't think they have enough IP. They don't have enough. I mean, they have enough studios.
Yeah, but my point is, if you have enough games, because Sony are currently at a bit of a lull, like in games. If Xbox get enough games coming out and they were console exclusive, there could be enough there to turn heads going into the next generation, especially if the next generation is backwards compatible. I don't think it moves the needle for the current generation.
Yeah.
But for the next one, I think that's what she's banking on.
Yeah.
getting that library of games that were Xbox exclusive titles for the end of this generation that people will then play in the start of the next generation.
Yeah, I can see the business model. I just worry that the amount of money it costs to make a game now, they put Gears out, it costs, what, say, 200 million, if not more, to make. And then everyone gets it on Game Pass, so no one actually buys it outright. Or very few people do. Yes, it'll probably do decent numbers on Steam and Epic or wherever they put it, Windows Storefront. But you know what I mean? I just feel like it's being held back because of the install base. And then when they look at that and go, oh, it costs us 250 mil to make, we only just broke even. Halo does the same. And we've said before, the franchises that they have in their tank, unless they come out and go Elder Scrolls, the next Fallout, but that is a big commitment when there's 100 million players sat over here going, well, we would buy it on Nintendo and PlayStation.
Shaman have to have a good set of balls to make Elder Scrolls Xbox exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
They would be hell on.
But is that the route? This is where they're so. This is where I think now the genie's out the bottle, I don't think they can walk it back to see success. Because
but that's why I think what she's doing here with Gears Eda and Clockwork Revolution, this is her testing the waters to see if she can.
Yeah.
Or to start conditioning us.
Yeah.
For that return.
I mean, when the showcase started, I thought, oh, here we go. And then straight after that, we'll get into it. They showed off a bit more Fable with a release date, 23rd of February.
A bit of no choice considering it was announced to be delayed. I feel like Fable didn't need to be here because before the showcase, they announced the delays a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, putting a date on it, I think getting out the way was interesting. But, I mean, this is definitely going to be at the Developer Direct in January. This is going to be the big one for that. We found out Hayley Atwell is a character in it, and seemingly the antagonist as well, which I was really interested in. It was actually...
I couldn't place a finger on it.
Yeah, and it's actually a really good trailer for, I think, showing us, the intent of the world and the story and the direction it's going in to make it feel like a different type of Fable. But then to get to the end of that and then go... PS5, Nintendo Switch. It was okay, so because I really thought they were going to hit us with a 1-2. Fable's also exclusive, and they didn't. I just
realised 10 days. Tomb Raider comes out the 12th of February. Fable comes out the 23rd of February. Too close, guys.
Ooh, there's also an irony of Hayley Atwell voiced Lara Croft in the Netflix animated series as well. Of that.
Although Tomb Raider is probably a bit shorter of an experience. It may be when we're getting to January. Which one do I go first? Do I do I go Fable first and just play Tomb Raider after? I'll figure it out.
And I'm guessing you'll be playing Fable on your PS5.
Yes, will be.
100%. So will I. So it's this weird messaging of they start with the intent of Xbox, and then they got to their second trailer and was everything, and then every other trailer after that was everything, and it's just a weird. I get what they want to do, but for me, I feel like it's just too far gone to reel that back in right now.
I think they're trying, and I think I do think this is an experiment.
Yeah. I don't think it'll pan out, but we'll see. Interestingly,
the two games they've picked, one's the first game up and one's the second to last, with Call of Duty being the last game showed. So I think they're starting and effectively closing the showcase with throwing out that Xbox console exclusivity.
Yeah, agreed.
They want us to talk about this. They want to gauge this. Halo campaign evolved, though. Got a date.
Yeah, it certainly did.
28th of July, 2026. On everything.
That's close. Yeah, on everything. That's Switch 2 as well, right?
I said Combat, didn't I? It's campaign evolved.
Yeah, it's still a terrible name. They should have changed that.
No, I don't think it's Switch 2.
Was it not? I feel like I saw Switch 2 on some of the trailers.
Some of them had Switch 2, but not everything.
Not everything. Where are you at with this one? Because this is, again, for me, similar to the Gears thing. I just want the uniqueness of having Halo on my shelf in a PlayStation box. Similar to you, we played Halo 1 and 2 on the channel. Similar to Gears, we kind of did them back to back to back. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to whatever the next Halo is. But now my worry, as a predominantly PlayStation owner who also has a Switch 2, I look at this and go, right, am I going to play the remaster?
2, that'll be exclusive.
No, not even 2, sorry, whatever the next mainline franchise entry is, which will be the best ever version of Halo, the most gorgeous, the biggest story, everything like that. And I'm going to go you done me over just like Gears. I bought into the franchise on my PlayStation at the first opportunity as a PlayStation gamer, and you've gone 2-3 years later, the next biggest Halo, it's console exclusive to Xbox. And I'm like, man, why tease me? with the retelling, and then do me over like that, Asher.
This is a not yet for me. I don't need to play this game this year because it's a remake. It's a remake, and I enjoyed our time with Halo.
Mm-hmm.
I would never. It didn't leave me with that itch to go and play every other Halo because I could have done. I could have went and sat down and played Halo Infinite, but I didn't. So Halo didn't sink its claws into me.
We both enjoyed Gears, didn't we? More than Halo when we went back.
I enjoyed Gears more than Halo. And Gears didn't sink its teeth into me enough to make the Gears remaster. That didn't sink its teeth into me to make Reforged. That's it. Yeah. That didn't sink its teeth into me enough to make that a day-and-day purchase. So the both are not yet.
Yeah, it looks great. All things.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from it. Just
new missions.
I don't need to play this right now.
I wonder what the price point will be on it, but. Yeah, campaign evolved. It's there. It's coming. But as we allude to, PlayStation as well. So interesting start. We then got a trailer for A Plague Tale Legacy Resonance and a date, 27th of August. This is the one for me which I'm equally looking forward to. It's a spin-off of the Plague Tale series. We've had 2 of them, and I think before they do a main a next mainline series, I think they're using the pull of the IP and the success of scene to, I guess, try and branch out a little bit.
I need to play Plague Tale 2, actually. It never sunk its teeth into me. This is actually console exclusive without actually stating it's console exclusive.
Is it?
Xbox, if you watch the trailer to the end, it just says Xbox Series XS, Xbox and PC, Xbox Cloud. But I think all Plague Tales are Xbox exclusive, aren't they?
No, I've got the Platinum on PlayStation for both the first 2.
Oh, all right.
Unless they've paid for time, but they've not promoted that anywhere in its other stuff. So I'd be very disappointed if not only are they taking Gears away from me, they're now taking a third-party game away from me that I've enjoyed the prior to. Nah, surely not, because they'll have sold many copies on PlayStation.
On the trailer at the showcase, it doesn't say PlayStation. That doesn't necessarily.
It might just be that they don't have
Eurogamer's right up says PC and PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I was going to
say.
But yeah, this is Sophia, so this is like 10, 15 years prior to the events of Plague Tale, so it's very much a spin-off with one of the characters you meet in the second game. She basically has a pirate ship in the second game, and she helps you get around, and she seems like a cool character who gets along with the main characters, but I didn't expect us to be here. However, the gameplay, that very PlayStation third-person action-adventure with puzzles to solve, kind of scratches that Uncharted itch for me, so... I enjoyed the other 2.
007 just has.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely, yeah. August 27th comes in the mix with Control.
All the September games.
And all the September games, everything. So there's plenty to go back to. Mafia, a couple of other things in between. So it's a stacked year so far.
Not yet.
Richie, we got a trailer for Persona 4 Revival, which I feel like we knew about. So 18th of February it's stated for. That's just coming. State of Decay 3 got shown off, but very much just we announced it 2020. It's coming next year.
I'm very interested in playing Persona 4 Revival, but it's a not yet because it's February next year.
Yeah.
I've only just realised that now, so... February is another stacked month, like September.
It's a bit, yeah. I mean, again, we've seen everyone just jump out the way of Grand Theft Auto, haven't we? That November timeline is just everyone's gone either September or after, and the kind of
have nothing to play in November.
I'm sure you've got a backlog you could dive into.
Nintendo, hold your fucking nerve and give me Pokemon. Pokemon typically comes out in November.
Pokemon's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't really compete. Metro 2039, we saw an extensive trailer for that. That's coming February 2027. And this is a game that didn't really exist a couple of months ago on anyone's radar. We got a stealth drop of a trailer that we covered on the podcast. And then now we got another trailer and it's coming out in February. So they've kept that under wraps pretty well. And it seems like
another February game.
It feels like the marketing is tied up with Xbox. Surprisingly, we got a trailer for Wolong 2, Wings of Ember, Richie, which I think caught everyone off. Again, I guess a quick turnaround.
Yeah, fairly.
More than anything.
A couple of years?
It's been a while. I remember if you remember, it was when I was in the hospital with my wife giving birth to my daughter. I played it on Cloud, and I defeated that first boss, that we couldn't... I think Rob got past it. We give you loads of shit for getting... Was it Zhang Liang or something?
Something like that.
And I
give up.
Yeah. And I did it on
first boss in Elden Ring, though.
You did. Marguerite, was it? Marguerite?
Yeah.
Or something? Yeah, but from Team Ninja, great stuff. I think Warlong was one where they did a couple of layoffs in the team and everything, so I think we were worried that maybe that was just kind of a one and done. But now they're back.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
They're doing another one. 4 years between games. That's not too bad.
It's not at all. But yeah, I guess I enjoyed painfully what I played of it, but however, once I did finish that boss, I was not going back to it. It's the kind of Dynasty Warriors story, but told in an Elden Ring, Dark Souls style. So yeah, Warlong. What was the name of it again? Sounds pretty cool, actually.
Warlong, Wings of Ember.
Wings of Ember is a pretty badass.
It seems like you have the powers of a phoenix.
I mean, that's pretty decent of a place to start. And then we moved on to another one that actually surprised me. The third entry in the Senua series. However, it's not Senua Saga 2. It's a whole new game.
They've dropped the Hellblade title as well. So it's just Senua.
Have you got any details on Senua while the trailer plays for our fine folks?
Yes, I do. So Senua is the next Hellblade game. I'm reading from Eurogamer, despite not actually having Hellblade in its name, this change is to highlight how Senua is a full-blown action-adventure game. This means more choices in combat, like being able to use the environment to your advantage, a bigger world to explore, and more puzzles. It seems like they're changing up the formula of the game quite a bit.
I mean, the second one was very much a disappointment on a lot of fronts for, I think, myself. Did you play it in the end or not? No, didn't even finish it. I played a bit of it,
but it's one of them I was playing with my partner. But I felt like, no, this is actually a game that you need to be immersed in to get the most out of.
Headphones on, yeah. I finished it and I remember thinking, like, it was great visually. Audio was phenomenal. I love the kind of the trippy storytelling they're doing. However, the gameplay was so limited to dodge left, dodge right, mash button.
Yeah.
Repeat.
It's very basic, the combat.
Yeah, for a sequel, it didn't iterate and grow at all, and I think that's what a lot of people were left disappointed by, is it felt like, yes, it was a stunner, it absolutely looked gorgeous. It was maybe 8 hours done with very little replayability, very little difference from the first entry, and I'm genuinely surprised that they're getting another crack at it, if I'm honest.
I feel like this is one probably under Phil Spencer where they've pitched it, but they've pitched, okay, we are going to expand the game a bit. It's not going to be I imagine it still will be that linear game, but they're going to go, instead of just being a narrative with a bit of action in there, we are going to up the action, up the amount of puzzles, make some areas a bit bigger, make the game a bit bigger in general.
Yeah.
Senua. Which might be you know what, we got something here, because it's always been praised for it did well.
Yeah, agreed. Surprised they went with Senua and not Hellblade in terms of like naming conventions, but
I feel like they just want to move away from the Hellblade branding.
Yeah. Well, speaking of moving away from branding, this was the weird one. PS5. But this has literally just been announced today. Would that not be another prime example of they could have just made this an Xbox exclusive? No one knew about it prior to today. It's from their first party studios, and yet they've went, it's coming PS5 when they didn't need to.
Deal's probably already signed.
Yeah.
Somehow they've managed to wriggle the way out of E-Day.
Yeah. Maybe they've paid a fine.
They probably have paid a fine to the PlayStation.
Last minute. Very last minute. You got to imagine the get out clause of that's quite pricey.
I'd imagine when these deals probably have get out clauses already in there, they might have been able to negotiate a get out clause, renegotiate the clause if Gears Reforged didn't do great sales wise. PlayStation might be, what, we'd rather take the bag of money now and just let you have your game.
Have it, yeah. I mean, maybe that's why they picked E-Day, because it did perform poorly on PS5. I went, you know what? We're not going to lose out on much anyway, because the audience maybe isn't there as we first thought.
And it's a stronger IP, I'd say, than Senua.
True. Maybe they got Senua as part of the E-Day deal. They went, give us Senua instead, because we've already got the previous two on PlayStation, and it's more akin to a traditional PlayStation game anyway. Who knows? Fallout 76 got updates. Doom the Dark Ages is getting a big expansion DLC, the biggest yet, they said, called Revelations, similar to Final Fantasy. We got a Crazy Taxi World Tour game revealed, which looks great. I do want to touch on it because it looks sexy as anything, Richie. The Xbox 25 announcement.
If I was in the market for another Xbox, this is the one.
Yeah, this is the one. Which, if we knew more information about the next gen, and I guess when I look at Gears of War E-Day, I'm thinking like, could I trade in my Series S and make it work?
That Matt Booty before the showcase had to tell people that Project Helix won't be talked about. That's where we're at. It's like, it feels like any showcase, any showing from Xbox, people are kind of half expecting new consoles to be announced. That's how late in the console generation we feel. It feels like we are for Xbox, which makes you want to just keep not spend on this.
Yeah, it does. Whereas I do look and think, imagine if that was the look of the new Xbox. This should have been what Project Helix should have looked like. Go with that colour scheme, that nostalgic trailer, then hit us with E-Day's exclusive, the new Halo's exclusive, and then really hark back to the glory days of the launch of the original Xbox 25 years ago. That could have been great. Because I look at that and think, if you and me were both in the market now, that's the one I'm buying. And I'd never even had an Xbox, but the nostalgia of my mates having one and talking about it, like it brings you back in, yeah.
It is a limited edition one, so pricing
25.
may be different.
25
pricing may be
made.
different to the normal console.
Yeah. Which has also gone up in price.
That translucent green is like, oh.
Yeah, it's some sexy
beautiful
shit, yeah. I spent the time in our Discord I was saying I'm not looking for one, I wouldn't buy one, exclusive or not. And then as soon as I saw that, I was like, do I buy one though? But no, I probably won't. It is a shame, but yeah, the next one should have been. It's the same with if the next PlayStation's like all grey. Remember those 30th anniversary ones that everyone was like, that's sexy.
You know what the thing is? If I had way more time to play all the games I want to play that ever come out, part of me might be when they finally launch Project Helix, use that to target a second-hand Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Because people will be trading them in, will be selling them to fund Project Helix.
Oh, yes.
But I probably won't do that just because there's so many games I don't play already. I feel like this is where I feel like I can just go, you know what? I'm sorry, because Xbox you've lost me. Yeah. You had me for a bit, but now you've lost me. I hosted an Xbox podcast once upon a time.
You did, right? And then we threw it out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
We got I said a tease, Richie. We got a logo for Persona 6.
Yeah.
Surprising it's at an Xbox showcase, but that's all we got.
I am happy to see this. I think because they had a bit more info about Persona 4 Revival.
Yeah.
Okay, Persona 4 Revival is the next Persona game. I feel like this is a nice little touch because it's been 10 years since 5.
Yeah.
Right, Persona 6, here you go. Like,
it is a thing.
It is a thing, guys. It is a thing. And this makes me think after Persona 4 comes out in February, I think this time next year, at the Xbox Showcase, we'll see Persona 6 properly.
Yeah. It's not traditionally Xbox, though, is it? Which is why it's a bit intriguing.
Sega seem to be cozying up to Xbox quite a bit.
Yeah, it's all about the money. We did get dates for Minecraft Dungeons 2, 29th of September. Valor Mortis looked pretty good, 24th of September. We got Elder Scrolls content, Flight Sim content. We kind of got like a little DLC block with Age of Empires and a couple of other things. And then we kind of got to the back end of it. And I called it last week. Tom was super excited about it. Spyro the Dragon returns in a new one, a realm beyond. Which as soon as I saw the purple font, I was like, yes, bring it home. So Toys for Bob are doing it in partnership with Xbox after they weirdly laid them off. Then they went independent and then still work with Xbox. But I don't know how that business works.
Toys for Bob have probably went many times right up to the letter of the contract where they go, we can say this, we can't say anything else without getting sued. It feels like this is like a secret that is not a secret at all. They've been dying to tell us about this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's out, which it only seems fair, right? We got the Crash remake trilogy, we got the Crash Team Racing, we got the Spyro trilogy, but Crash then went on to get 2 of his own games, which I guess he might arguably be the bigger IP, but I've always got a soft spot for Spyro the Dragon. My wife loves Spyro the Dragon. My daughter loves Spyro the Dragon, even though she's only played little bits. It does look great. It's a new entry in a series, and he deserves it. Visually, it looks bright and colourful, and I think we need more kids' family games.
You know what I found interesting is in the PS1 Spyro games, they were basically platformers, and yes, you could glide, but on this game, you are flying and you're going quite high in what the trailer is. So there's going to be quite a lot of verticality in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what will make a Spyro game quite unique. Now we've got the technology to be able to really go quite big and not just
go quite
big,
vertical,
like, horizontally, quite vertically as well.
Yeah.
I think that's going to make traversal and flying around the world quite interesting.
Yeah, indeed. Coming to PS5 and Switch 2 as well, which again, I think the Spyro games have probably sold tons more on PlayStation and Switch because of the family-friendly audience, and PlayStation because of the nostalgia of all the originals were PlayStation mascots for all lack intents and purpose. So, finally got to see it. Cannot wait for that one. And then the showcase round out with a double hit of Clockwork Revolution, console exclusive. I don't think I need to really say any more of this. Looks great, looks fun, looks like BioShock reimagined with steampunk.
Is it actually Ken Levine, the creator of the BioShock weapons?
No, he's doing Judas, which is his own game, which we've not seen all week, which I really thought it should be imminent. I feel like it's been...
I always forget it exists.
The spiritual successor to BioShock is, very much there, but it got shut off last summer and it felt like it was imminent and then nothing for over a year now, so... Maybe there's problems. It'll be their first game, so maybe they're just having problems behind the scenes of kind of that final push to get it out. But yeah, we saw Clockwork Revolution showed off more action, more engagement, more options and stuff. Looks fun, quirky. I know a lot of folks now on Discord have really enjoyed it. And then they kind of ran up the show disappointingly again, the same as they did last year with Matt Booty going like, oh, they've been with us from the beginning, one of the biggest franchises, and you're thinking Halo's been, Gears has been, Fable's been. It's like, who is it? And then it goes Call of Duty, and you're like, oh, that's not really been with you from the beginning. Like, I know it has, but
we had like a Call of Duty trailer like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they dropped it unnecessarily when it could have.
This could have
done
been,
it here.
It's one of them. Because they've double dipped in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. It's like this felt a bit lackluster because it's like I already know this game's coming out. Like I already know quite a bit about this game going into the trailer. This should have been the first reveal of the trailer. Yeah,
you've lost the pop, haven't you? At the end, it did feel like, and it's Call of Duty. It was like one. They're not really yours. You've just bought them, and that's why you're talking about them. Like trying to sell us it as though it's an Xbox exclusive, and it's like it's not. Because that never will go console exclusive. I guarantee you that.
I think this would be a strong end to a showcase. Call of Duty is going to also be a strong end to a showcase if it wasn't for the trailer like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, if we didn't know about it, it'd be like, oh, sweet. Well, we always know it's coming, but it's where you show it off.
Oh, it's Modern Warfare. It's 4. Oh, cool.
Shit, yeah. Cool. We would have sat here going, oh, we're back to Modern Warfare. That's wild. And great at the same time, because it's the last one that I think we both really enjoyed. But... yeah, and then that was it. And then they went into the kind of Gears 30-40 minutes of gameplay and dev talk, which I always like that little kind of extended look at the end to kind of not make the showcase feel longer, but just like kind of let you sit and reflect a little bit on all the great stuff you've seen, but then spend like a deeper dive on something that's arguably like their biggest title upcoming. But then, yeah, all in all, Richie, we had another hour of game reveals. I didn't feel like we saw anything that new from Xbox, which seems harsh to say because they showed off a lot, but you know what I mean? We've known about Fable for ages, we've known about Gears for ages, we've known about Halo for ages. It's like...
We got a lot of dates and stuff, though.
We did.
And, like, I actually think the Xbox showcase of the three is the strongest one. There may be stronger games in other showcases, like...
Mm-hmm.
But, like, God of War, Alfie, and Wolverine, but I feel like overall the Xbox showcase was the strongest.
Yeah, I would say they're all not too far off each other. Like you said, there's like equal games in each. There's a couple of flagship ones, and
I personally was disappointed in Summer Games Fest.
A lot of wish lists.
There's a lot. It's not even that. There's just a lot of games that I wasn't particularly interested in. I don't think anything was bad. It's just like, okay, that's a game, that's a game, that's a game, that's a game, that's a game. Okay, there's like 2 games in this list.
And it was like, 2 hours long, Summer Game Fest as well.
Yeah, like the big hitters and like Resident Evil, Veronica, I'm not overly interested in. As much as I've enjoyed Alien Isolation in the past, I'm not a survival horror guy. Crossfire is like, okay, that looks okay. It was interesting. Mafia's DLC, 1666 Amsterdam was... I need to see more of that. Nothing really went, oh my god, what's that?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7 Revelation. but that was always going to be that could have been anywhere.
Yeah, it could have been at the State of Play. To be fair,
Yeah.
if PlayStation's seemingly timed exclusivity hadn't ended.
So I just remember thinking, okay, there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Xbox showcase seemed a bit more Fable, seeing a bit more Gears Edit. Unfortunately, I won't be playing it. Seeing some more Persona 4, then realizing the date doesn't match up, doesn't work well for me. But then seeing things like, it's nice to see State of Decay return. Senua looks good. DLC for Doom the Dark Ages, which I never got around to playing Doom the Dark Ages.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt this was the strongest. Disappointed that Elder Scrolls 6 didn't make an appearance, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they need some in the tank for probably some like Christmas time, give or take. Remember, we've got Gamescom in August.
I was hoping Elder Scrolls 6 would be here, because then you might go, you know what, it might be a 2027 game. I'm thinking now, because it's not, it's probably 2028.
Yeah, realistically. Same with like the next Fallout and beyond.
Fallout is beyond that, so...
Yeah. But yeah, in and amongst all that, Day of the Devs, we did get a ukulele kart racer that looks similar to the SNES, which was like a fun little touch point. Toy Story Retro Roundup, I've pre-ordered it. Just all the old Toy Story games and a random Bugs Life game thrown in for the Disney collection. Isn't it weird that these things get announced in the week when everyone is doing announcements and trailers, and how you don't even get
lost in the mix?
You don't even get like a 30-second like window to go, oh, by the way, this is up now. With a franchise like Toy Story, when the new movie comes out in 2 weeks, it seems like a bit of synergy was missed there. But
I think the Summer Games Fest thing isn't quite working, and I think it's been going long enough to realise it's not quite working, because it's trying to recapture the magic of E3.
Yeah.
But then the big publishers and stuff tend to do their own thing. Like Ubisoft usually does its own thing if it's got more than one game to show. Like PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo are just off doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of games that just get lost in the mix, but because you're losing that physical presence, I think a lot of games media aren't stumbling across these little indie games as much.
Yeah, true. Remember during lockdown when everyone had their own showcases? Like Square had theirs, Ubisoft had theirs, Embracer. Remember that horrible one we sat through with the Embracer group? And it was like the presenters, the presenters didn't even have their... Like the background and microphones weren't even like decent.
It looked just like the hung a black sheet.
Oh yeah, we spent 2 hours through that slog. I've blocked it out in my brain. I can't remember what it was for. And the games were shit. But 3 showcases there, Richie. That's all of the news, and we've missed probably half of it. But it's a lot of stuff to go through. In a way, it's a shame it's not spread out over a couple more weeks, because it would be fantastic. Watch, there'll be no news next week. Nothing. Hopefully, we'll have a
Nintendo Direct. Come on, Nintendo, carry it all.
Like, drop us some Pokemon stuff. Show us a new Mario game. Give us like loads of content. But if not, we can always delve
Ubisoft
back.
Could do something.
Nah, they won't. They've not got enough in the tank. But let us know in the comments, folks. Let us know in our Discord what's your favourite games. We'd love to hear from you all. Again, apologies if we've missed one of your standout gems, but that is the nature of it, and there's so much to go through and so much to get to. But what a stacked end to 2026, especially that week in September, before everything else, Christmas and the like.
February's stacked as well now.
It's gaming in general, man. Did you see Jeff open the show on Friday by saying how many games are released on Steam this year alone? Yeah. It was like nearly 2,000 already, which was almost like a third bigger than last year. And the trajectory is like, I'm sure half of them are shit. But
I noticed he tried to spin that as a good thing, but I was thinking...
Too
That's
many.
a lot of games. There's too many. It's like the quality isn't going to be there in a lot of them. Like,
too many, indeed. But I tell you where the quality is, Richie, right here on GamerGuild TV with the GamerGuild Podcast, which we round up all the news as much as we can, in fact. Bring it to you Monday, 8 a.m. here on YouTube and on podcast platforms. You'll see us here every single week, as we have been doing for nearly 7 years now. But that brings us to an end of episode 147 of the GamerGuild Podcast. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
And remember, folks, play whatever makes you the happiest, unless it's a console exclusive and you have to go somewhere very specific. See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.